نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره نعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلوات الله وسلامه عليه تسليما كثيرا ما بعد إن خير الكلام كلام الله وخير الهدى هدى رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. As it has been advertised, going to deal partly with an ayat from the Book of Allah Azza wa Jal, dealing with a subject that is a crucial subject for every sane Muslim man and woman. And that is the ayat in Surah Ibrahim, ayat number 21 in Surah Ibrahim. Allah Azza wa Jal mentioned in that ayat, وَقَالَ الشَّيْطَانُ لَمَّا قُضِيَ الْأَمْرِ. When the thing was decided, when the issue was decided, meaning Yawm al-Qiyamah, when the thing was decided and the issue was decided, إِنَّ اللَّهَ وَعَدَكُمْ وَعْدَ الْحَقِّ. Shaitan will say to the people, verily Allah promised you. And Allah made a true promise. He made the promise that is the truth. They can't?
Yeah, the sisters say they can't hear, so if you could put the volume on.
Is it coming through the speaker at all? Or? Yeah.
Now, can the women hear now? How are we going to know if they can hear or they can't? So maybe we can get a relay message. So we want to know if they can hear now.
Yeah, they can hear now.
So as we were saying, the ayat Allah Ta'ala mentioned that Iblis mentioned Allah wa'adukum وَعَدَ الْحَقِّ وَوَعَدْتُكُمْ فَأَخْلَفْتُكُمْ. Verily Allah, He made a real truthful promise to you. And I also promised you, but I broke my promise. This ayat of the Quran, Ikhwani, we didn't come to give the tafsir of the particular ayat in question, but we came to deal with an aspect of what the ayat is talking about. And that is, as I mentioned from the beginning,
It's okay?
They said to turn up some more.
As I mentioned from the beginning, the issue of the ayat dealing with Iblis and Shaitan is an important issue because we all should get some type of fiqh and understanding and comprehension about things as it relates to a Shaitan. As part of the aqeedah of the Muslim, to know, as Allah Ta'ala mentioned in the number ayat of the Quran, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا ادْخُلُوا فِي السِّلْمِ كَافَّةً وَلَا تَتَّبِعُوا خُطُوَاتِ الشَّيْطَانِ إِنَّهُ لَكُمْ عَدُوٌّ مُبِينٌ. Oh, you believe, enter into the religion wholeheartedly. Take everything about the religion. And don't departmentalize your religion. Take some and leave other parts. Take all of it to the best of your ability. And don't follow the footsteps of the Shaitan. Verily Shaitan, he is a clear and he is an open and avowed enemy to you. So being that he's a clear enemy, Islam came and explained everything that we need to know as it relates to guarding ourselves from our enemy. To show his enmity and his animosity, what was collected by Imam Bukhari, Abu Hurairah, may Allah be pleased with him. He said that the Prophet said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and there's not a child that's born except that the Shaitan comes to him and he pokes him in the side, and that's what causes the child to scream out in anguish. The only two people this doesn't happen to is Isa ibn Maryam and his mother, salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. So it's part of our religion to know every human being, Muhammad, Yaqub, Ishaq, Yusuf, every human being. When he came out of his mother's womb, the shaitan came to him and poked him in the side, and that goes to show the clear animosity that shaitan has towards Bani Adam. The only two people that escaped from this because of a special favor that Allah gave to them, Isa ibn Maryam and his mother. They are the only two. That's from the khasa'is, the special characteristics and qualities that they share. They have other ones that people don't share with them, those qualities. So the point here is, the ulama of Islam, they said the fact that Iblis would poke the kid in the side is a clear sign and clear indication that from the very beginning, Iblis is trying to destroy Bani Adam. Now the thing that I want to deal with here today, inshallah, and advising you brothers and keeping things basic and simple, because I came to this place before and we talked about the preparation of Ramadan. And given da'wah Allah, we're dealing with a lot of issues that are on the table. We're living in a time where the knowledge of Islam is a little, and the application of Islam is difficult. Not difficult because Allah made it difficult to practice, it's just the nature of our environments and who we are. So it doesn't make sense for people to come and to complicate things for themselves and for the people. The da'wah of the Quran and the Sunnah is a da'wah that is simple and it is easy. It tells the people, as I mentioned when I came here, I talked about the pillar of Islam, which was fasting, preparation for fasting. I said back then, don't make things difficult for yourselves in this religion, in any aspect of the religion. So in keeping with that message and in that spirit, I want to deal with this issue of shaitan by advising you of another very critical issue. And that is how we know that a shaitan is been sent to be a child in the fitna and to take us away from the dhikr of Allah. And the greatest dhikr of Allah is the salat. So he makes it his job, he makes it his business to make people forget about as-salat and all other kinds of dhikr, because the dhikr of Allah is one of the biggest weapons against a shaitan. Shaitan has the ability to whisper, he has the ability to make a lot of fitna and fasad, a lot of problems. But, like he said in this ayah, وَمَا كَانَ لِيَ عَلَيْكُمْ مِنْ سُلْطَانٍ إِلَّا أَنْ دَعَوْتُكُمْ فَاسْتَجَبْتُمْ لِي فَلَا تَلُومُونِي وَلُومُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ. Shaitan will say to the people of Qiyamah, he says to them, I didn't have any power and I didn't have any ability over you. I couldn't take you by your neck and make you do something. I didn't have that power, I didn't have that ability. I didn't have the power to make you push someone off of a cliff or out of a window. I didn't have that power. He said the only power and ability that I had was to call you, and you answered what I said. So don't blame me, blame your own self. So the shaitan, Allah Ta'ala has given him some strength in that, the weaknesses in Bani Adam, the weakness of the desire, the weakness to listen. But shaitan, all he has is the ability to whisper. That's why Allah said about him in the Quran, وَكَانَ كَيْدُ الشَّيْطَانِ ضَعِيفًا. The plan of shaitan was da'if, is weak, because all he can do is make waswas. But it's the weakness of Bani Adam, it's the problem of Bani Adam, following the desires, not having knowledge, issues like this. So he wants us to forget. Every day, as the Messenger of Allah says, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as-shaytan sends out his army. Every morning they go out and they come back to him at the end of the day and they report to him, and he said, and they say to shaitan, I mean this particular man drink khamr, I mean that particular man make zina, I mean that particular man over there fall into shirk, I mean that one over there divorce his wife, I mean every day, and they sit down to do that. And they send out to make people doubt their religion. Prophet Muhammad told us, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, do not let any of you sit, relax, reclining, and you let shaitan come to you, and shaitan starts saying to you, who created this? So you say Allah. Who created that? You say Allah. Who created this? You say Allah. And then shaitan turns around and says to you, who created Allah? He said, if that happens to any of you, then you should say, Amantu billahi rabban وبالإسلام دينا وبمحمد نبيا ورسولا. I believe in Allah as my Lord and Al-Islam as my deen and Muhammad as my messenger. So they are trying to make people have doubt of their religion. So what I want to deal with is reporting, is sharing with you guys, your brothers and sisters, the importance of this prayer as it relates to that shaitan regime. The person who abandons the prayer is going to be in trouble as it relates to his religion. Last time we talked about the pillar of fasting. Right now, the pillar of Hajj is right around the corner, inshallah. Another Hajj has come and it's going to go. And we still have people, they still make the necessary efforts to ensure that you're going to perform Hajj year in and year out. It's from the Arkan of Al-Islam. When the Prophet told the people, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Al-Islam has been built upon five things, that was from his eloquence and from his jawami and kalam. Every person, no matter what his career is, what his background is, his education, everybody can appreciate a building and a structure that is built upon. Everybody, even if he can't read and write, he's illiterate. So when he tried to get this idea across to the minds of the people, Al-Islam was built upon five things. The foundation of the building is upon these five things. And he went on to mention them. But that doesn't mean those five things are all of Islam. That's the foundation. But every foundation has walls, has windows, has a door, has rooms, has a roof, and Islam has all of that. But the most important aspect of Islam are those foundations. He says, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, min husni Islam al-mar tarku ma la ya'ni. From a person's good Islam is leaving alone what doesn't concern him. Not being nosy is a part of Islam, but it's not from the foundations. They say, Ya Rasulullah, Ayyul Islam khayr. What is the best Islam? He said, Man salim al-muslimun min lisanihi wa yadihi. The Muslims, the one who the Muslims are safe from his hand and his tongue, that's the best Islam. That's part of Islam. But the point here is, Islam has been built upon these five things. We talked about fasting last time. Can't encourage you enough about not letting Hajj come and go without making Hajj. But today we're going to talk about the second most important pillar as it relates to shaitan and this ayah. The second most important pillar of Al-Islam is the Salah. As it relates to actions, there's nothing that we do that's more important than the Salah. Nothing you can do that's more important than the Salah after the Shahadatain. No ibadah. There's nothing important after this issue of the Salah. The one that the Prophet said about it, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, verily the very first thing that Allah is going to ask the person about Yawm al-Qiyamah is his prayer. So the first question is not birrul walidain. It's not how you got your money. It's not what you did in terms of the health that you had. First question is about the Salah. That in and of itself shows the importance of the issue. He says, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, as-salat khayrul mawdu', famin istata'a yastakthir falyastakthir. The Salah is the best thing that you can do. So anyone who has the ability to do a lot, do as much of it as you possibly can. When a person doesn't pray, the Nabi told us, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that shaitan urinates in his ear. Prophet Muhammad, being a human being, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, was traveling with his companions and they overslept. They designated that Bilal ibn Rabah would be responsible to wake them up. Bilal was the mu'adhin. May Allah be pleased with him. Bilal, you have to wake us up. So everybody went to sleep and they were dependent upon Allah to wake up Bilal. But sleep overcame Bilal. Prophet Muhammad woke up first and went and said, Ya Bilal, what happened? Bilal said, the same thing that overtook you, overtook me. I was tired, I was asleep. Prophet Muhammad told the people, everybody, let's get up. He made wudu. He said, let's leave this place as the place of a shaitan. And he went over there, they prayed 2 rak'ah, and then they prayed Salatul Fajr in Jama'ah. Goes to show, Prophet Muhammad is a human being, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and he missed a prayer. He missed a prayer. We can count the amount of times that he missed a prayer. He didn't miss the prayer just being lazy, and the prayer just came and went. No, something always prevented him. Like in this case, his sleep overwhelmed him. That happens to human beings. The hadith also goes to show, after you miss the Fajr prayer, you should still make those 2 sunnahs. And the permissibility of praying a prayer that's been missed in the Jama'ah. So the point that we're using this hadith though is that he said, let's move from this place. Let's not pray right here, because this is the place of the shaitan. Shaitan came, and it's his job, it's his goal, his objective, to make people leave off the prayer. Let me say this, Ikhwani, as it relates to the prayer. The companions of the Prophet ﷺ looked at the prayer in a particular way. The first generation of Muslims looked at the Salah in a particular way. We look at it in a different way. I don't know most of you by names, but I know that everybody here knows of somebody or some people who don't pray. They don't pray at all. And then we know those people who don't pray Fajr at all. Or those people only pray Jummah, only pray the Eid. This wasn't the case with the companions of the Prophet ﷺ and the people of the past. If you look at the way they looked at Salah and the way the Salah is today with the Muslims, there's no puzzle and there is no strange answer as to why we're in the condition that we're in. To have people in our homes who don't pray, and it's something natural and normal, it's a problem. To be an individual who, day in and day out, I don't pray Fajr, day in and day out, there's a problem with the person's Islam. One of the people who was taught by the companions, his name is Abdullah ibn Shaqiq al-Uqayli. He said there was nothing that the companions used to consider the abandonment. There was no deed that if the Muslim abandoned that deed, the companions considered it to be kufr other than the Salah. So if the companions of the Prophet ﷺ met a man who was eating in the month of Ramadan, they said, لَعَلَّ رُبَّمَا عَسَى, maybe this, maybe that. He could be sick, he could be a traveler, he may have an excuse. The man is eating in the month of Ramadan. Now right now we're not fasting, so we can't really appreciate how severe that is, but if it was Ramadan and we were fasting 18 and a half hours every day like we were a few months ago, and someone was just eating in front of us, it's going to be a big thing. It was a big thing to the companions, but they didn't say his abandoning fasting was kufr. They made excuses, and they didn't look for them excuses. They just made it up. Maybe he's traveling, maybe he's sick, maybe this, maybe that. If a person didn't perform Hajj, the companion said, maybe he doesn't have the money. Maybe he has to stay to take care of his wife and his kids. Maybe this, maybe that. They know he doesn't have a horse. The jihad that they used to make, they used to have to defend Islam. And the jihad that I'm talking about here is the one that I don't apologize about, the one that we're not sensitive about. It's part of our religion, defending the religion. But it has its time, its place, its people, and so forth and so on. Back then, they used to have to make jihad a lot. It was a big issue. The one who didn't go, the companions would come back and they would see he didn't go. They would make excuses. Maybe he didn't have a horse. Maybe he has to take care of his mother. Maybe this, maybe that. They see a lady without hijab. They didn't say that lady was a kafir. The companions did not give wholesale takfir to people like that. If a person was doing something that was described as kufr, or doing a big sin in Islam, the companions were not like the people today. We're living in a time and in an environment where we're weak and it's hard. And yet people come and they put rulings on people during these tough times. Excommunicate, kick them out of the religion. The companions said about that lady who didn't have hijab, maybe this, maybe that. Maybe she's a new Muslim, maybe she's a Bedouin, maybe she's a slave. But if they knew that a person didn't pray, the companions knew a person didn't pray, they said this person's a kafir. And that's because of the hadith of the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, al-ahdu alladhi baynana wa baynahum as-salat man tarakaha faqad kafar. The difference between us and them, Sikhs, Jews, Hindus, agnostics, all of those, atheists, the difference between people of Islam and them, salah. Whoever doesn't perform it, he disbelieved. So that was the position of the companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam radiyallahu anhu. Now, before moving on to the next point, my question to you is what would have been the opinion of the companions concerning some of the people that we know. I'm not talking about the girl who doesn't wear hijab. I'm not talking about the one who doesn't fast in Ramadan, the one who doesn't pray, make hajj. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the people who we know who don't pray. 16, 17 years old, living in my house, he won't pray. And I can't say anything to him because if I do, it's going to be a problem. So as a parent, I just got to leave it like that. No, the companions were a group of people who said, if a person wasn't praying, that's a sign he's a non-Muslim, a munafiq. And that's why we have all of those ayat in the Quran talking about the descriptions of the munafiqeen. And from them, إِذَا قَامُوا إِلَى الصَّلَاةِ قَامُوا كُسَالَى يُرَاءُونَ النَّاسَ وَلَا يَذْكُرُونَ اللَّهَ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا. The mushrik, the hypocrites, they're the people who, when they stand up to pray, they stand up and they're lazy. They really don't want to pray. And when they do pray, they only remember Allah a little bit. So that's the dhikr that the shaitan wants to take the people away from. It's another very important issue as it relates to the people of the past. The Prophet ﷺ used to teach the people about the Dajjal a lot. Just as we should get fiqh about the shaitan, what was he created from, what can he do, how do I defend myself from him? Because there's a lot to know about shaitan. A lot. I mean, a lot has been said about the shaitan. Shaitan is in the black dog, the shaitan is in the camel. I mean, so many issues. Shaitan, he circulates in the blood of Adam, like the circulation of his blood. So many issues. What this ayat is saying, Yawm al-Qiyamah, Shaitan is going to free himself from the people. وَإِنِّي كَفَرْتُ بِمَا أَشْرَكْتُمُونِي مِنْ قَبْلِ. I'm free from you people and you used to make shirk with me. Listen to me when I was telling you to believe this, believe that. He's going to free himself from people. So many issues. Just as we should get fiqh about shaitan, we should get fiqh about ad-Dajjal. قال صلى الله عليه وسلم الدجال إن من أشراط الساعة لا يذكر الدجال عن المنابر. From the signs of the hours that the people won't mention the Dajjal on the minbar. But anyway, Prophet Muhammad was explaining to his companions, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, some issues about the Dajjal, and from them, that the Dajjal is going to be on the face of the earth for 40 days, 40. He said that the first day will be like 1 year. The second day will be like 1 month. The third day will be like 1 week. And the 37 subsequent days after that would be like our days, like this. So if a Dajjal came out today, this day is going to extend and it's going to appear and seem to the people as if it's 1 whole full year in 1 day. And the next day, 1 month. And the third day, 1 week. And then after that, the rest of the days are going to be the way we know it. Now, if the Prophet said that to the people today, or if people heard that hadith for the first time, our community is going to say things like, how is 1 day going to be like a year? How? Like those ayahs that describe Allah and tell us about Prophet Muhammad. The community, they say, how, why, how? Allah said about himself that he's over his throne. The way the Prophet mentioned, people come say, why, how, where, how? It's not your business to ask those kind of questions. How, why? The companions didn't ask those kind of questions. How, why, where? The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wa sallam, for all of his virtues and all of his importance, the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wa sallam brought a religion that he told the people, don't go overboard, don't have a ghulu. I went to a funeral the other day, brother's mother died. We went to the funeral. We were dealing with the lady who's getting buried, but if you look around the other graves, they have flowers on them. You know, the thing you use in the toilet for istinja. You know what I'm talking about? Like, you water the flowers with them. People, the Muslims, they bring 3, 4, 5 of those and set them around the grave, and they put water in them. Nobody's pouring the water, and they put flowers in the grave. And you ask the people, what are you doing? What's that about? Why are you doing that? They say, this is the sunnah. This is going to lighten his load, lighten the punishment. And when you tell them, no, we shouldn't do these things, there's no proof. The people say, how, why, when, where, how, is the problem. So when the companions heard that, the question that they put forth to the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam was, what did they say? Kayfa nusalli, how do we pray, ya Rasulullah? We want to know, how do we pray? And the reason why that was the important issue to them is because during the day of the Muslim, that's the most important issue to them. How do I pray? And I have to work my life and schedule around the salat. And from the beauty of Islam and the ease of Islam is people have that ability. The person is an airplane pilot, he's an astronaut, he goes in a submarine under the ground, he can work whatever his job is. He worked in a safari park somewhere in Kenya, whatever his situation is. His religion, his life can fit around his salah. As for those miskin people who they go to work and they miss all of the prayers during the course of the day and then go home at the end of the day and make up all of the prayers, that's from the shaitan. Because anyone who intentionally misses the prayer, you can't make it up. You only can make up the prayer like what happened to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu earlier. If you sleep on a prayer, you can make qadha. If you forget a prayer, you can make qadha. It's possible. Shaitan is, forgetfulness is from shaitan. And that's why the Prophet used to say, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if one of you forgets an ayat, don't say I forgot this ayat or that ayat. You should say, I was made to forget. Unsituha. I was made to forget. Like what happened with Khidr, with Musa and Yusha, Musa and Joshua, when they went to look for Khidr. And the sign that they would find him would be that the fish that the young man Yusha, Joshua was carrying, the fish would escape. And with the place that the fish escapes, that's where you're going to find Khidr. So Musa said, we're tired, we're hungry, bring me the food. He said, oh, I forgot to tell you. I forgot. The fish jumped out and swam away. وَمَا أَنْسَانِيهِ إِلَّا الشَّيْطَانِ. And no one made me forget except shaitan. He made me forget. So part of the fiqh of knowing about shaitan and dealing with him is to know that he's the source of forgetfulness. He's the source of forgetfulness. Ala kulli, this issue of the salat and the importance of the salat, how a shaitan wants to make his business to prevent people from praying because it is a tremendous weapon against the shaitan, is an issue that's been dealt with extensively in our deen. In addition to that, we want to bring to your attention how those people were in the past. Like you invited me to come today, and although I've been here before, one of the great personalities from the Tabi'een, taught by the companions, a man by the name of Ibrahim al-Nakhai. Ibrahim al-Nakhai was taught by Abdullah bin Mas'ud more than anybody else. And if a person is Hanafi, he owes a great debt of gratitude to this Tabi'i, whose fiqh came from Abdullah bin Mas'ud more than anybody else. But Ibrahim al-Nakhai had a student who was the Sheikh of Imam Abu Hanifa. He was the teacher of Abu Hanifa. So Abu Hanifa's teacher took from Ibrahim al-Nakhai, who took from Abdullah bin Mas'ud. So a lot of the Hanafi madhab comes from that way in many instances. This man, Ibrahim al-Nakhai, mentioned that the people of the past would not take knowledge from a person until they looked at how he prayed. They would observe, what does his prayer look like? So one of them would travel from Egypt to Bukhara. He would travel from Al-Kufa to Mecca or Medina. He would travel from Asham, and he would go all the way to Baghdad. And once they got there, they just didn't sit down and take knowledge from the person who they came to visit. They would wait until they saw that individual's salat. They wanted to see, does the man get close to a sutra? Does he know what that is? Does he raise his hands at the 4 times when you should raise your hand in the prayer? When he makes ruku', how is his bowing? And when he goes down, does he go down on his hands or his knees? Is the guy a person who's praying, he doesn't have any discipline, and he's looking all over like this, and he's praying very quick? If they saw that his prayer was not a salat that had some level of what's that word again? No, what's that word when you have discipline? They see that he's not disciplined. They wouldn't take knowledge from him because they said the salat is the salat. It is the measurement by which you measure a person's amana. The trust, the ability to take care of the trust. Everybody has a trust that he has to take care of. When someone leaves you with trust, ayah of the Quran says, Allah يأمركم أن تؤدوا الأمانات إلى أهلها وإذا حكمتم بين الناس أن تحكموا بالعدل. Allah commands all of you to give the amana back to the people who deserve it. Give the amana back. That ayah was revealed because when the Prophet conquered Mecca, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there was a man and his family were in charge of the key to the Kaaba. So when the Prophet conquered Mecca, he's in charge of the Kaaba now. And he was going to take that key from that man. He was going to take the key from that man and his family because they were on shirk and kufr. And now they can't be responsible for the masjid. But the Prophet ﷺ knew if he treated them well, his people would become Muslims, leave the key with them, and they'll become Muslims. So it's an issue of taking the key and smashing them down, or being easy and gentle and giving them down and leaving the key with them, and they take that honor. So they kept the key and they became Muslims. And this ayah was revealed. The amana was theirs. They should have had it all along. Anyway, the salat is the most important amana. Now I want to ask you guys a question. If we knew someone who wanted to come and wanted to marry our sister, who wanted to marry our daughter, our mother, our auntie, we're going to ask about that person. We're going to say, is this person, is he a thief? And if they say yes, he's a thief. He robs banks. And he robs the local stores as well. He'll be robbing people. He'll stick you up. We're all going to collectively say, we're not going to marry him to our sister, our daughter, our mother. We ask about the next guy. They said, hey, this individual drinks khamr. We're all going to say, no, we're not going to marry him to our sister, our daughter. And that's the haqq. But abandoning prayer is worse than drinking khamr. Abandoning prayer. Abandoning prayer is worse than stealing. It's worse than zina. Because all of those other sins, they're from the major sins, but they're not kufr. Whereas the abandonment of prayer is disbelief in Allah Azza wa Jalla. And then if we look at the prayer itself, like I mentioned to you about the issue of the Dajjal, the people of the past. One of those people of the past, his name is Ta'us. Anybody know what Ta'us means? Anybody know? I'm going to come back and ask you this question. Ta'us, inshallah, Ta'us is one of those major tabi'in. His name should resonate with us. Ta'us, it means like a peacock. His name was Ta'us ibn Kaysan. His son prayed. He said to his son, did you seek refuge in Allah from the Dajjal? The boy said no. He said, go back and make your prayer over again and seek refuge in Allah from the Dajjal. If a person doesn't seek refuge in Allah after praying from the Dajjal, it doesn't render his salat null and void. But there is a hadith that I'm sure we all know about it. The Prophet told us, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, إِذَا تَشَهَدَ أَحَدَكُمْ فَلْيَسْتَعِذْ بِاللَّهِ مِنْ أَرْبَعٍ. If any of you pray, you should seek refuge in Allah from 4 things. You should say, oh Allah, I seek refuge in you from the adhab of the qabr. I seek refuge in you from the adhab of the jahannam. And I seek refuge in you from the fitna of life and death. And I seek refuge in you from the fitna of the Masih ad-Dajjal. So the prayer is, as I mentioned, a weapon that has been given and legislated for the believer to protect himself from those major enemies, ad-Dajjal, Iblis, so forth and so on. As a result of that, people pass on a high level of taking care of this prayer. Last thing that I want to mention to you brothers and advise you about the issue of the salah, if you want to fight the shaitan. And there are many issues, but nothing is better than the salat and the dhikr, generally, but specifically salat. As the Prophet mentioned in an example that he gave, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he talked about a dhikr. He said that the example of the dhikr and the way it protects an individual is like the example of a fortress. Some people are chasing the man and he's running away from them, and then he gets inside of a citadel, a fortress. You know, fortress, like those old castles. And he closes the door and everything like that, and the people are left outside. So the fortress, the citadel, is protected. Protected him from who? From the shaitan. The dhikr, that's what that hadith is about. And that's why that book that most of you have, I think, or you've seen it, it's called The Fortress of the Muslim. That little book that I advise you to get it and to learn the everyday dua, all of those other dua. The dua that you have to say to prevent your wife from conceiving a baby who's a shaitan. I mean, so many issues. So anyway, the point here is, the dhikr is a fortress. And there's no better dhikr than the Quran being read in the prayer. And shaitan wants to destroy that. So the last thing we want to give you, Ikhwani, is how the salat was viewed by those people of the past, those companions, like Umar radiallahu anhu. There was a prophet after Nabi Rasulullah, would have been Umar radiallahu anhu. You know, we as an ummah, we owe debt of gratitude to Umar. The hijab of our wives, that's from Umar. People are about to perform al-hajj. Many of the ahkam of al-hajj come from Umar. Like making tawaf 7 times and then going to the maqam of Ibrahim and praying 2 rak'ah. تَخَذُ مِن مَقَامِ إِبْرَاهِيمَ مُصَلَّى. That's from Umar. The Quran that we read, that we have. The Quran wasn't put together during the time of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's put together during the time of Abu Bakr because of the idea of Umar, who went and said, hey, Khalifat al-Muslimin, Amir al-Mu'mineen, you have to bring that Quran together. And the companion said, anytime something happened and Umar was on one side and the people on the other side, the haqq would be with Umar. Usually. Not all the time, but usually. Because no one's always right except the Prophet ﷺ. And with that great position and status of Umar, I gotta mention this, with that great status and position at the war of Badr, the Muslims won and they took enemy and took captives. Rasulullah said, what do you think we should do with them? Abu Bakr said, let's free them. Umar said, no. Ya Rasulullah, what you should do is give Abu Bakr the closest relative from amongst them and let him slay him. Give me my closest relative from the captives, let him slay him. And you slay the closest relative. Rasulullah didn't like that because that's kind of tough. This is the one who left the key with the man, with his tribe. He's Ra'uf, Ra'im. So the Prophet said, we're going to ransom you. We're going to get money from you. We're going to sell you back to your people and get money. Like Abu Bakr said, they are relatives and we get money from them. Allah revealed the ayat, supported Umar. All the time, many times. But although that was the case, when the Prophet died, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Umar was threatening people, saying the Prophet didn't die. Anybody who says that he died, I'm going to kill you. Which goes to show anybody can make a mistake. Any scholar, any popular person, anybody can make a mistake. No one gets it right all the time, except the Nabi of Al-Islam, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when it comes to relaying the message of Al-Islam. During the Khilaf of Umar, there was a misunderstanding between a Magi, a person from the Majus. He disagreed with one of the companions and they took the disagreement to Umar. And Umar judged on behalf of the Muslim. And that man got upset, he didn't like it. So he said, I'm going to do something about it. So he decided to kill Umar, to assassinate him. So he waited until Fajr time when it was dark. And under the protection of the darkness, while Umar was praying. Why did he choose that time? Why? He chose the time of Salah because the companions used to not look to the right or the left when they used to pray. And that was common about them. Abu Bakr was praying when the Prophet was sick, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the people started going to get his attention, and he stopped reading to try to figure out what was going on, and they kept doing that behind him. They said, but he used to never look to the right or the left while he was praying. And then there's that person who's praying and he's looking all over the place. That's not the Salat of al-Islam. The Nabi is in the masjid, the man comes in and he prays 2 rakat very quickly with no discipline. And then, that's right what he did. You shouldn't go into any masjid without praying 2 rakats. Any masjid. Now it's not a masjid, so we don't have to do that here. That man prayed 2 rakats. He went and said, Assalamu alaikum ya Rasulullah. He said, wa alaikum salam. Go back and pray. He didn't pray. He went and prayed 2 rakat very quickly. Came back, said, Assalamu alaikum ya Rasulullah. Wa alaikum salam. Go back and pray. You didn't pray. He did it a 3rd time. Said, Assalamu alaikum wa alaikum salam. Go back and pray. You didn't pray. He said, this is what I know, ya Rasulullah. Teach me. So he started teaching him right there. When you want to make salah, do a good wudu. Face the qibla. Say Allahu Akbar. Read what is easy for you from the Quran. Say Allahu Akbar. Go into ruku'. Stay in ruku' and be with sakina. Calm, relax. And then come up and say, Sami Allah liman hamida. Rabbana wa lakal hamd. And then go down, and he went through the whole prayer. So the point here is, from the benefit of that hadith, you could say salam multiple times. And from the benefit of that hadith, you have to pray 2 rakats to greet the masjid. But what we use the hadith for? We use the hadith to show that man prayed according to him. In his mizan, he prayed. But he didn't pray according to the mizan of the sunnah. So there's a person who, he gets up early in the morning and he jumps out of the bed and he prays very quickly and jumps back in the prayer and says, hey, I need salah, I did fajr today. But did you do the fajr according to the mizan of the sunnah? And that's why we have all of those ayat, a lot of ayat that tell us about doing things and then coming Yawm al-Qiyamah and that thing won't be there for you to have it. Meaning ayat. قُلْ هَلْ نُنَبِّئُكُمْ بِالْأَخْسَرِينَ أَعْمَالًا الَّذِينَ ضَلَّ سَعْيُهُمْ فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا وَهُمْ يَحْسَبُونَ أَنَّهُمْ يُحْسِنُونَ صُنْعًا. Tell them, Ya Muhammad, should I tell you of the people who are most astray, they're going to be the most lost? Those people who do a lot of work, so they think that they're doing something, but Yawm al-Qiyamah, they're going to come, it's not going to be anything. So as it relates to Umar, the man decided, I'm going to kill him at Salat time, because I know at this time is my best chance to get away. If I face him in the street, he's going to deal with me one-on-one. So I got to get him from behind. Umar started praying, the man came and stabbed him up in his stomach. And then when he ran out, he stabbed other people who were in the line, 13, 14 other people. What did the companions do? They didn't stop. If they stopped praying, nobody could blame them. We're going to stop now and get the thing together and then resume the prayer. They didn't stop. Behind Umar was Abdurrahman ibn Auf, one of the 10 people promised Jannah. They pulled him up, he came, he prayed, shortened the prayer. They took Umar out, they took the people out. People died. But they thought Umar was going to live because he was strong. When he became the Khalifa, it was 12 years of the golden rule of Islam. Islam spread. He was a powerful man. The one who the Prophet made dua, oh Allah, strengthen Islam with either Umar or Abu Jahl. And Allah chose Umar. And they said once he became a Muslim, Islam got strong and strong and stronger from that day. Because of his personality, who he was. So now, they were like, wow, maybe he's gonna live. So they used to try to keep him awake. They gave him some milk. The milk came out through his intestines, so they knew Umar's going to die. So they said, try to keep him awake, because if you lose consciousness, he's gonna die. He won't regain consciousness. So they were trying, but they couldn't. Abdullah ibn Abbas said, I know what will keep him awake. Doing his khilafah, it was my job, and I get money from the Bayt al-Mal. My job was to come and to tell the Amir al-Mu'mineen Umar, Salat is soon. The amount of time it took me to read 100 ayat, that amount of time, 100 ayat, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, I have to come and tell the Amir, get ready for prayer. Not wait until the adhan. And this is the Amir al-Mu'mineen in charge of the Muslims. So what do you think is the rest of the people's situation? His job wasn't, when the adhan goes off, I come in. No, 100 ayat I will read before the adhan. And I've been doing that for 13 years, every day, 5 times a day. So he said to Umar what he's always said. Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, laqad hana al-salah, waqt al-salah. It's time for salah, Amir al-Mu'mineen. Umar opened his eyes because that word was in his DNA. And then he said his famous words, Wallahi, la iman liman la salata lahu. I swear by Allah, there is no iman for the one who doesn't pray. No iman for the one who doesn't pray. Because that was the position and the opinion of the companions. And this is one of the tough positions in when we say we're going to follow the religion of the companions. What they did is what we're going to do. It's one of those tough issues because there are some scholars who say if you abandon the prayer but you believe in the prayer, you're not a Catholic. And that's the position that I take. That if a person abandons the prayer out of neglect and laziness, but he believes it's wajib, I don't take him outside of Islam. But it's hard to take that position when I want to be on the religion of the companions. And all of them saying if you abandon prayer, you're Catholic. And they didn't talk about, you meant it, you didn't mean it, they didn't talk about all of that. So how am I going to be on the way of the companions and I go against what appears to be their position in this particular issue? Because there are other texts that make me say, I'm not going to take that position. But there are those scholars who took that position straight up and down. Whether you're lazy, you're not lazy, you're negligent, if you abandon prayer, you're Catholic. So he said, there's no salah, no iman for the one who doesn't have any prayer, doesn't make the prayer. With that being the case, we got to make the jihad, necessary jihad, and the necessary sacrifices to make the salah a part of our life. We're going to talk about as shaitan, then there's no war against, no battle against the shaitan for the one who doesn't start to educate himself and get committed to making the necessary adhkar, the dhikr. And maybe doing the Q&A session, inshallah, if there is a Q&A session, more of that will come out. And Allah's a'lam.
So we thank the brother, the Sheikh Abu Usamah, for attending and delivering this very beneficial lecture on the topic of Iblis and his deception and the deception connected to the prayer and the importance of the prayer. So if the brothers have any questions, just raise your hand and we'll address them, inshallah. And likewise, if the sisters have any questions, if they can write them down, send them forward with one of the youth, we can address them as well, inshallah. Any questions, brothers?
What about the brothers who pray here and there? What do you call them? They don't abandon the prayer completely. They pray like, say, Zohar, then they miss Asr, they pray Maghrib, or pray Isha. They don't complete the 5 prayers. What do you call them?
For the person who is praying sometimes and he misses his prayer sometimes, this is something that is wide. This is one of the categories of people that we mentioned in the Quran, and this is one of the categories of people that is the reality that we're living, the waqi'. Allah Ta'ala mentioned in the Quran, ثم أورثنا الكتاب الذين اصطفينا من عبادنا فمنهم المقتصد ومنهم سابقون بالخيرات. And we revealed and we inherit, caused the book to be inherited by those people that we chose divinely. And from them, the good people who were chosen divinely, believers. And from the believers are those who, they mix good and evil. They got some good and they got some evil. And from those believers are those who are sabiquna bil khairat. They are the uppermost, they're way in the front. They don't miss any prayer. They don't miss any fast. They wear exact hijab. They always pray. So the people are on different levels and different levels of commitment and application. So what I would say, bring it back to that other hadith, and this is critical and crucial, man, important question. And And that hadith, the very first thing that Allah will look into Yawm al-Qiyamah would be the prayer. Prophet Muhammad said, if his prayer was good and exact, the rest of his deeds will be good and exact. And if his prayers were bad, the rest of his deeds are going to be bad. So the prayer has a knock-on effect to his behavior in his life. In the same hadith, he said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and then Allah will say to the malaika, if his prayers were bad, look at my slave's prayer and see if he has any nawafil. And if he has not nawafil sunnah prayers, then complete his wajib prayers with what he did from the sunnah prayers. This is really important hadith. Some of us were born and raised in Islam, and there was a time we didn't pray. I didn't pray until I was 15, 16, 17. I didn't pray until 25, 30. So what are you going to do about all those prayers that you missed? There's no such thing as qada, making up a prayer that you missed intentionally. And besides, how do you know how many they are? The religion is not like that. So I remember, like right now in the Hanafi madhab, many of the people in the Hanafi madhab, not to pick on the Hanafi madhab, but when a person is first practicing, they overwhelm you with all of these prayers you have to make. I mean, a lot of prayers in one day, you're overwhelmed. There's an authentic sunnah. Anyone who prays 12 sunnahs in a day, castle will be built in Jannah. No doubt. We encourage you to make 12. But the way that madhab it, you have to pray before Fajr, before Dhuhr, after Dhuhr, before Asr, Maghrib, and after Isha, you're there. What, 60 prayers? We just say, where'd that come from? We missed prayers. No. The Prophet ﷺ, he said that the sunnah prayers that a person does, they will complete his nawafil. So they will complete what he missed. So what does he do? When he comes to Jummah, he tries to get there 30 minutes early. Not when the adhan goes off and the imam says assalamu alaikum. He tries to get there 30 minutes, 1 hour, 45 minutes. And he prays 2 rak'ah, 2 rak'ah, 2 rak'ah, 2 rak'ah, 2 rak'ah, with no limit to it. Because that's what the companions used to do. So that sunnah prayer before Jummah will, inshallah, based on the instruction of the Nabi, complete the wajib prayer that he was missing. In the month of Ramadan, one of your incentives, okay? Taraweeh. You missed a lot of prayer, man. You better go get in that Taraweeh prayer. After the beginning of Ramadan, you pray Taraweeh, but then you get tired and go home. No, man, don't get tired. You have to keep praying because you missed prayers. That's one of the incentives to stay in Taraweeh, and any of the prayers that are legislated in Islam. So a person who prays and he misprays and prays and misprays, even described in the Quran. He mixes good with bad, and he has a way to get out of that. He makes tawbah, and he makes as many prayers from the nawafil as possible. But he should know, not praying is a major sin. The great scholar of Islam, his name is Ibn Hazm. Ibn Hazm from Spain. He said, I don't know any sin. I don't know any sin after shirk and murder greater than a sin where a person lets the prayer come and go. He felt only 2 other sins were bigger than that. Shirk and murder. Wallahu a'lam.
Sheikh, what's the evidence used by the opinion of Muslim prayers and major sin and not kufr? What's some of the evidences they use? Because you touched a lot on the kufr.
The brother wants to know what are some of the evidences that the ulama of Islam use to say a person who doesn't pray is outside of Islam. Hadith that we mentioned earlier, the difference between us and them is Salah. Whoever abandons it, he has disbelieved. In addition to that, Surah At-Tawbah. Surah At-Tawbah, one of the last surahs that was revealed, Allah Ta'ala mentioned, فَإِنْ آمَنُوا وَأَقَامُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَآتُوا الزَّكَاةَ فَإِخْوَانُكُمْ فِي الدِّينِ وَخَلُّوا سَبِيلَهُمْ. Allah revealed this ayat about the kuffar, Quraysh. Allah said if they believe, if they come into Islam, they believe, they establish salah, give zakat, then they are your brothers in the religion. So we understand the opposite of that is if they don't believe, they don't establish salah, they don't do it, they're not our brothers in the religion. The Prophet, he said in that hadith, Bukhari Muslim, Abdullah ibn Umar, Allah be pleased with him. أمرت أن أقاتل الناس حتى يشهدوا أن لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله ويقيموا الصلاة ويؤتوا الزكاة فإن فعلوا ذلك عصموا مني دماءهم وأموالهم إلا بحق الإسلام. I've been commanded to fight the people, to kill the people until they bear witness La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah and they establish Salah and give zakah. If they do those things, then their blood, their lives, and their monies become sacred, haram upon them, except by the haqq of Islam. If they kill someone, they'll kill, and so on and so on. So those are some of the strong proofs that are used by those scholars. The Prophet, he mentioned, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, anyone who doesn't pray, Yawm al-Qiyamah is going to be raised up with Fir'aun, Haman, is going to be raised up with Umayma ibn Khalif, Fir'aun, Haman, Umayyah ibn Khalif, and someone else. All imams of Kufr. Fir'aun, Haman was with Fir'aun, Umayyah ibn Khalif, and it could have been Abu Jahl. I don't know. Can somebody look for that hadith real quick with your phone? The one who doesn't pray will be raised up with Fir'aun. Can you put that in your smartphone or somebody real quick? Want to get those people.
So what is the difference between us? What I understand? Why do some scholars say it's not kufr, it's a major sin? Why is the difference?
Because the Prophet said it's kufr. To abandon salah is kufr. But not every kufr push you outside of Islam. But every kufr is a major sin. Right? So some of the companions in the man said, MashaAllah wa shitta ya Rasulullah. It is as Allah wants and you want. That's kufr. But it didn't put him outside of Islam because he didn't mean it that way. That particular man. Allah said that some of my slaves woke up as believers in me today, some woke up as disbelievers. As for the ones who woke up as disbelievers, they're the one who said it rained because of that planet and this planet. But it's not the kufr, disbelief, they're outside of the religion because they didn't have knowledge, they didn't know what they were doing. As for the ikhtilaf, the other side has proofs as well. It seems like their proofs are stronger, inshallah, more consistent with the rahmah of al-Islam, more consistent with the rahmah. If we said that people who don't pray are kuffar, then we say the vast majority of Muslims walk on the face of the earth are kuffar. Because most of the people we know don't pray. Also, in addition to that, we got those ayahs of the Quran, like Allah Ta'ala mentioned in the Quran. قل يا عبادي الذين أسرفوا على أنفسهم لا تقنطوا من رحمة الله إن الله يغفر الذنوب جميعا. Say, oh my servants who have gone overboard in oppressing yourselves and wronging yourselves, don't despair from the rahmah of Allah. Allah forgives all sins. And from those sins is this issue of abandoning salah. إن الله لا يغفر أن يشرك به ويغفر ما دون ذلك لمن يشاء. Allah won't forgive that you make shirk with him, but he forgives anything other than that. Yawm al-Qiyamah, the Prophet said, close to Yawm al-Qiyamah, al-Islam is going to be taken away. And people are not going to know what salah is. All the people are going to know is La ilaha illallah. Abu Dharr said, Ya Rasulullah, La ilaha illallah is going to help them? He said, yes, it's going to help them. They say, Ya Rasulullah, all they know is La ilaha illallah is going to help them? He said, yes, that's all they know is going to help them. Ya Rasulullah, all they know is La ilaha illallah is going to help them? He said, yes, despite the nose of Abu Dharr. Although you find it hard, despite your nose. Because that's the condition of the Muslims during that time. As the time goes on and on and on, and Islam is going to fade away like the embroidery of the thobe. People won't know Salah, Zakat, Hajj, and the Quran will be raised up in one night. I can't see it, man.
I can't see it myself. Read the verse up.
Haman, Karun, Ubaydah, Fir'aun.
Haman, Karun. Fir'aun, Haman, Karun, Umayyah ibn Khalif. Nah, so Allah knows best. Any more questions? Ikhwani fillahi, faddal ya akhi.
What's the permissibility of praying just before time because of a commitment you have? What's the permissibility of praying just before time because of a commitment you have?
Now, concerning praying before the time, praying after the time, it's not permissible unless you have a legitimate excuse and then you have a way out religiously. Allah mentioned in the Quran, in the Salat kanat al-mu'minina kitaban mawquta. Al-Islam, the Salat has been prescribed upon the believers at certain times. So Jibril came one day and he prayed with him at the beginning of Fajr, the beginning of Dhuhr, the beginning of Asr, Maghrib, and Isha. He came the next day, he prayed with him at the end of Fajr, Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib, and Isha. He said, Ya Muhammad, this is the time of prayer for your community. So you can't pray before the time. Allahumma, except if you want to pray Salat al-Asr before it's time by combining Asr and Dhuhr. You want to pray Maghrib before it's time by combining Maghrib. You want to pray Isha before it's time by combining Maghrib. Other than that, no prayer can be prayed before it's time. No prayer. And that's the thing about the Salat. Everything in Al-Islam is, the 5 pillars is contingent, dependent upon your ability. You don't have to give zakat if you don't have the money. You don't have to fast if you are old, sick, traveling. You don't have to perform hajj if you don't have the money, if you don't have a wali, you don't have a mahram. You don't have to travel. You can't make it physically. But in Salah, you always have to pray. Salah is never taken off of you. You're in the hospital laying down, you have to pray laying down. You have to do the best that you can possibly do. There's no thing where Salah is suspended off of you. So if a person has to do something and the time didn't come in for the prayer yet, he has to delay it. Unless he has a religious reason. Like I said, he can bring up Asr, he can bring up Al-Isha. As for praying Dhuhr before time, Kalla wallahi. Maghrib, no. Before it's time, no way. No prayer before it's time.
Chris, a question from the sisters. What age are children meant to start to acknowledge a prayer?
Prophet mentioned this, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, what age should we start to make the kids pray or put pressure on them to pray? It's the age of 7. He says, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, muru awladakum bis-salat hum abna 7 sineen wa duribuhum alayha hum abna 10. Command your children to pray when they're 7 years old and hit them when they're 10. And we have to have some fiqh about this hadith. So at the age of 7, we start encouraging them. But that doesn't mean you don't encourage them at the age of 4, 5, 6. You encourage them, especially when you look at the child in question. Grew faster than others. And maybe he's slower than others. So you're going to take it easy with him as well. And then at the age of 10, you have the right to chastise them. But you hit them in a way that doesn't leave a mark. And you have to be careful with this thing about hitting them, because if you hit them all the time, the way some of these Mulki Saabs hit the kids when they go to the Quran school, you're going to make the kid hate prayer just like he hates the Quran. And that's also child abuse as well. It's something natural. And the Prophet didn't do that, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The ayat of the Quran said about him, وَلَوْ كُنْتَ فَضًّا غَلِيظَ الْقَلْبِ لَانفَضُّوا مِنْ حَوْلِكَ. If you were rough and tough with them, they would have run away from you. They would have dispersed. So he was gentle. Anas ibn Malik took care of the Nabi for 10 years, from the age of 10 to the age of 20 in Medina. Prophet Muhammad was in Medina for 10 years. From the age of 10 to the age of 20. Anas ibn Malik said, never did he say to me, why did you do this for something that I did? Why didn't you do that for something I did not do? I can't imagine that myself. So he wasn't hitting on the kids and beating the kids. But the nature of the kid is that they're going to play around, they're going to goof off, they're not going to pay attention, so they should be made to understand Salah is not a joke. So you start at 7 and you chastise him at 10, but you can start before 7. You can start before 7. And if he is at the age of 10, you don't want to always be beating the kid to make him pray.
What's your views on like gelatin in like sweets? Because some like imams say it's allowed.
Can we come back to that one?
Alright.
Okay. You mentioned fortress of the Muslim, the fortification of the Muslim is a weapon against a shaitan. Can you mention like a treatise or a small book that the people can go to that describes the Prophet's prayer, so that people can benefit from that, rather than the imams that don't teach the people how to pray properly?
Right. One of the great students of Sheikh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah, Ibn Daqiq al-Eid, he had mentioned that it is possible for a person, a student of knowledge, a Muslim, to be a scholar in a particular thing. He may not have knowledge about everything, but he has enough knowledge about this one particular thing that he's constituted as being a scholar. For example, the one who knows tajweed correctly. He doesn't know fiqh and this and that, but he's a scholar in tajweed. So it's possible that a person can become really thorough when it comes to an aspect of this religion, although he may not know Arabic, he may not be a student of knowledge even, but it's possible. And one of those things you can become very prolific at and very good is this issue of dua. Dua, because there's always something to learn, always something to learn, always. The adhkar, the mini dua. So the scholars of Islam took time out to take care of this. In English, I don't know too many books, but I know in Sahih Bukhari it's been translated, and in Sahih Bukhari there's a chapter called Kitab al-Da'awat, the du'as. And it's coming out of Bukhari, so you know it's authentic. Also, Ibn al-Qayyim has a book that's been translated into English called Al-Kalim al-Tayyib, the pure word, the good word. And it brings the dua of the Nabi and some of the etiquettes of his dua. In English, what comes to my mind, I would even go as far as to say this is the best book you can get. The book is called The Dua, the Weapon of the Believer. It's by my brother Yasir Qadi. That's a beneficial book, and that's why I'm telling you about it. But I don't endorse the positions of Yasir Qadi and everything in this religion. But if you want a book that's beneficial in dua, that's the best book that I know of in English. The benefit of dua and how to make the etiquette of a dua. You get that book along with this other book, The Fortress of the Muslim, the Fortress. You can even get an application for that. You get those two books, you will be in good hands, inshallah. Now I repeat and I reiterate, I'm mentioning that book, Yasir Qadi, because it's a good book. I'm not going to mention that book. I don't know a book better than that. But I'm not endorsing some of his positions, things that he says, and so on and so on.
And his final question.
The brother asked about gelatin. I don't know why he's asking about gelatin, and I'm very hungry right now. I don't know about gelatin and all of that stuff like that. That's my wife's job. I don't know about that gelatin. Some is good, some is bad. I never concern myself with it. So Allahu A'lam. I don't know.
So closing, we say Jazakallah Usamah and his visit. We ask the brothers to donate generously to this cause, IslamReading, because with your donations, we just funnel it back in for future events. The aim of IslamReading is to try and bring Islam unadulterated to people who won't normally get to the masjids or the masajids. So this is our effort, and this is why we're doing this, what we're doing. So I ask the brothers to make dua for the brothers who organize these functions. And any way that you can assist, if you speak to Brother Adu, then we can, inshallah, put more effort into these things. Or Abu Bashar, as it goes. Jazakallah khair. So time for Salat Maghrib now, so